there was multiple parts that I very much enjoyed out of Susan Cain's video and TED Talk. I would say that in general, I just like that an introvert had the energy capacity and presence in front of all of those people to go up there and really speak her truth, even though I'm sure that was actually a little bit frightening for her. Which I found ironic that she didn't even fully speak to that. But anyway, one of my favorite parts was when she referenced ambiverts, and I have always struggled between finding myself very much an introvert and then very much an extrovert. I think it also depends on who I'm talking to. I talk to some people who consider themselves introverts, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm actually like not that extreme with my introversion. And then I talk to people like even my partner, who he thrives also off of social connection and is like honestly a pretty decent drinker. He likes to like go out and party and do stuff like that. He just like loves that, and I'm just not as extroverted as that at all. So I find myself in this middle ground constantly. And it's a theme in my life in general that even with my worldviews, even as extreme as they get, I definitely find a dualism in seeing the other side as well. So there was a part of me that sat there and completely agreed with so much of what she had to say, and then another part of me that was like, no, community, connection, collaboration. We should also be living like what was her name, Simbafu. I'm sorry if I just butchered her name really bad, but we had a video of her a couple weeks ago, and I loved how into the fact she was talking about indigenous and tribal people who they don't get that separation or isolation that people in the Western societies get. And to some degree, like, I actually think that that is amazing and good, and very often what we are craving or needing is something that someone else can inspire or generate within ourselves. I'm somebody who's pretty into human design as well, and I'm a projector, which is only 20% of the population of the entire world. And meaning that I actually have a very difficult time generating my own energy, which generators are their own category as well. And I believe that's like 60% of the population, maybe even 70%. And it's meaning that they're always like able to go. But very often, I've even said this to my partner, even if I'm in the mood to clean our house and I like want to do it, the idea is there. If I sometimes don't have the energy or have him around or somebody else to inspire me to do it, I don't find myself doing it. So I find that I need that human connection and energy and almost like amplification and like vibe. And sometimes I can get that from podcasts or music. And music I find is a huge source of it for me. I can put on music and it can change my mood like that, or like go along with my mood, or yeah. I'm going a little bit off track here, but what I'm getting at is that I just find myself as somebody who needs other people around very often, even if there are times when I also need to recognize, hey, I need to do this by myself and this independence is good. So I would consider myself 100% an ambivert. But I do find what she touched on, the schooling system. I'm somebody who throughout this entire class, depending on what the subject was, have addressed my very large desire to see us more in offerings of schooling in alternative ways. And I know that that can be hard because people need to make a living, and the way that people have public schools makes it so that people who are less fortunate can actually still have schooling. But some of those people who are still less fortunate have just as many needs and wants and differing ways that they need to be taught as everybody else. And so I really dream of this world sometimes where we all get to kind of live our own societal paths and ways of taking in information, and how we can really share our gifts with the world. Because as she said, these people who are introverts and who do not function on the level that normal society does and are used to and socializing, being forced into some of those situations can actually be like very damaging to their future. And I see the same thing for people who are extroverted who need to be doing work alone, and almost the situation of online schooling currently. So I'm very curious to see where it goes in the future for all of those subjects. And then these are just like some of my aha moments.